بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ونعمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه نعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له نشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وأصحابه أجمعين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب مبين يا أيها والذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها ولا بأثر منهم رجالا كثيرا والنساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون والأرحام إن الله كان رقيبا. الحمد لله الذي يجعل يوم الجمعة سيد الأيام من نعبد ونستعين وإياه وهو الذي فرض رسالة الجمعة بقول الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا لذكر الله وذكروا الله. المؤمنون المخلصون هم الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم ذكر الله وذكر الله القلوب. Assalamu alaikum. In the Holy Quran, Allah reveals to the Prophet ﷺ to the agency of Jibreel, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا وَلِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا وَمَا جَعَلْنَا لَكَ بَعْضًا كُنْتَ عَلَيْهِ إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعُ الرَّسُولَ مَنْ يَنقَلِبُ عَلَى عَقِبَيْهِ وَإِنْ كَانَتْ لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الَّذِينَ هَادَى اللَّهُ وَمَنْ كَانَ إِلَّهُ لِيُهْدِيَ إِيمَانَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِالنَّاسِ لَرَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. And thus we made your community in the center, or of the heart, that you might testify against the people and that the messenger might testify against you. And we did not make a change in the direction in which you face, except to know that who followed the messenger from who turned heel and rejected his guidance. And it was a difficult test, except for those whom Allah had guided. And Allah would not permit that your faith be in vain. Truly Allah is gentle and a bestower and a mercy to all people. And in Surah Al-Imran, he says, وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And there may grow out of you a community who invite all to goodness and enjoin the doing of the right and forbid the doing of what is wrong. And it is these who are successful. And then it goes on and he's in the same surah, ayat 110, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. And you are the best community that has been brought forth for the good of humanity. You enjoin goodness and you forbid evil and believe in Allah. Dear brothers and sisters, the most honorable Sheikh of the world and the most blessed of our teachers always inform us of the balance and the value of the Ummah Tawasit. And this word, Ummah, as used in community, has many deep meanings. We've discussed them and contemplated them many times and acquired a certain connotation, which some of which are sort of romantic and others of which are nostalgic, and some are even derogatory and revolutionary and reactionary, some of which are just without any thought. Knowing as we do that the root of this word lies also at the root of the word for motherhood, and that this word connotes to us many fundamental and essential beliefs. And since we like to deal with the basic meaning of things, then I would like to just take a few moments to talk about the most fundamental meaning of the word community from the point of view of Muslims and those of us who are seeking to live our life as Muslims and members of Tariqah in community. In one basic sense, the concept of community means all forms of relationships that are characterized by a high degree of personal relation, intimacy, emotional depths, moral, ethical commitments, and certainly social cohesiveness. And it implies a continuity in time. It can be found in our small community or in the locality, or we can think of the community, as we've heard in the Quran, as the deen, or religion, or the middle nation. Community might also be described in terms of race, occupation, or a common cause. But the archetype of community is found in the concept of family and the relationships between and among families. And in another sense, the community is a comprehensive group and perhaps has two main characteristics. The first one is a group within which an individual can have most of their activities and experiences that are important to them in terms of their growth, their development, their education, and their service to humanity and to Allah. And the second is that the group is bound together by a shared sense of belonging and a feeling of some identity. Perhaps it's ethnicity, but in our case it's Islam and Sufism. And then even a further derivative of that is service to humanity and organizational community. The historical trend, one can say, has been a movement from the most intimate, deep, and ethical relationships that unify people to the most informal, impersonal, utilitarian relationships that we see in society today on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn, where it used to be that people were living in, buildings 10, 20, 30, 100 stories high and didn't have the slightest idea who was living next to them, or people who lived in suburban communities and didn't know the people on the next street or the next door neighbors even sometimes, or people who live in communities where they have walls around their homes, gated communities for fear of people trespassing on them. The movement of community which sort of rises and falls throughout the history of humankind, and which is at a real basis of Islamic belief, has gone through different phases and marked by different consequences. And there are, of course, as you know, even Islamic communities online. But from a historical trend, I think we can infer that there are certain conclusions, and one is that historical evolution has not always been totally negative or totally or completely positive. We find both negative and positive aspects and consequences of community. The second is that modern society, especially modern society that we find ourselves in, is far from perfect, so there is a great task before us for those of us who are Muslims and who are of Tasawwuf. It's a task that we have to perform to revivify the real meaning and the real feeling of community. And third, perhaps we could say the human condition is not a lost cause or a hopeless cause. Human beings have within their hearts and within their souls an ability to commune with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to come to unity, as the English word leads us to understand. Community, come to unity, and to revivify the idea and the belief of community as our loved and esteemed predecessors on our path have told us, or shown us, or illustrated to us in the creating of Sufic communities over the past few hundred years, many hundred years. So community has taken on a lot of different meanings, especially in modern times. And there are many crises and difficulties, but the situation that we find is not yet out of control. There are opportunities, and perhaps we should humbly consider ourselves one of these opportunities for the statement for what a community should be and can be and continues to have to strive to be, for life is never ended till it's ended, and striving never ceases. And finally, perhaps humankind has grown more interdependent and society more intertwined, so that whatever happens in one aspect of society is going to have an effect on the rest of society, a ripple effect, and we should keep in mind this when we try to discuss the Islamic concept of, or concepts of community, because it's generally correct to say that Islamic concept of community has unique characteristics that relate to the foundations and the basis of community life historically, and in terms of the best purpose that mankind or humankind can endeavor to achieve. The community in Islam is not founded on race, not founded on nationality, it is not founded on locality, nor on occupation, nor on blood relationships, nor on special interests. It doesn't take its name after a leader or a founder or an event. Islamic community knows no national borders, no political boundaries, no matter what others try to impose upon it, even from within. And the foundation of the community of Islam is where one finds the principle that lies in submission to the will of Allah, obedience to Allah's laws, commitment to His cause. In brief, one can say that an Islamic community is present only when it is nourished and when it is fostered by true Islam, a real understanding of Islam, not an agenda of one group over another or one nationality over another. And the Islamic community has a real, serious historical mission from its conception, yet we find it has deviated in many places in the world, if not all places, somewhat. It is a mission that in no way can be said to be achieved in this day and age, but for a miracle. It's not just a mission just to survive. It's not a mission to have power over others. It's not a mission to breed some master race or to keep some psychological continuity. But it is described in Quran as we read it, let there be a community among you advocating what is good, defending what is right, eradicating what is wrong. And these are indeed successful. And again, you are the best community ever raised. You enforce what is right, fight for what is wrong, and believe in Allah. Well, I understand, and you understand that leaves a lot for interpretation or bias, as we've been talking about recently. And one of the things that we find rampant in our society and over recent history is conspiracy theories. And conspiracy theories are, I won't go into what conspiracy theories are other than to remind you about compliance bias, and about confirmation bias. The people seek the one thing that they can hang their bias on and then confirm it again and again, usually by no facts, but through emotional means or repetition, ideography. And I discussed in detail last night how you can tell the true from the wrong, false. But the historical role of community, Islamic community, is to be true and to be an embodiment of what is good and wholesome and noble and patient and tolerant and forbearing and caring and serviceable, just to repeat some of last night's points. A real Islamic community is at the forefront of change. A true Islamic community is like a guardian at the door, alert to whoever comes and filtering those people or those ideas that are based on goodness and service and kindness and compassion and mercy and open-heartedness, tolerance, and virtue. And what is required of this community at large is very similar. It requires for each individual to strive, as we say, in the way of Allah. That is to say, in the way of the Asmaul Husna, the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which I offered to you as one stage in the journey, Aqlim, last night. The whole community has to be seen and felt and operated as if it is an organic entity. So it should resolve all issues of difference and not tolerate closed-mindedness, reactiveness, even self-deprecating, self-destructive ideas. Because among loved ones, a person who destroys himself harms the loved ones. Isn't that true? Every individual, is accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knows it, and believes that. I began last night's dars about who is a believer, what is belief. The role of every individual Muslim is best described by a statement of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, "Whoever of you sees something wrong must seek to rectify it by action or deed. If you cannot, let him try to change it by word. If you cannot, let his feelings of disapproval and condemnation intensify. And in this is the minimal degree of faith." As we can see from this description, there's a very significant meaning because we have a comprehensive duty. We have to try everything within our power to make good changes. And in this age, we find ourselves in where the media can create a revolution of thought, where ideas are spread instantaneously, where lies and untruth or half-truths or partial truths can be taken as real truths and blown up. It's such that no one really in their right mind could possibly underestimate the power of concerted action and intention, or the power of communication for good or for bad, or the power of emotions and feelings, and how money, empowered by feelings and emotions of people. Just look at talk radio, especially right wing. The man who owns all those casinos, Adelson, was he earning $1 million a minute? Something like that. So you see how from haram comes haram. It's very clear. You know, in Islam, any money that is haram money can only be used for things like buying toilet paper or things like that. You can't use it for things that are pure. You have to use it for things that are dirty if you have it. If you use it at all, for that matter. If it's questionable. So this has become a science in the hands of those people who are not Muslims and don't have the cares and concerns we do. The stimulating of people's emotional responses leads to this confirmation bias, which on one hand is the wishful thinking and the other is the self-fulfilling prophecies. Just before I came down, I had the news on to see what was happening with the Malaysian airliner and other things, and there was a man talking about conspiracy theories. And basically he was talking about self-fulfilling prophecies. People exacerbating their state of minds, their emotions by fears and conspiracies. And we have to ask ourselves, as I said last night, what do you believe? Do you believe? And are you striving to do the things that are praiseworthy? As Allah said in the writing today, in the Quran. We have made you a middle nation, a well-integrated community, a balanced ummah, so that you may be witness over other people and the messenger and witness over you. What does it mean to witness over other people? Sounds bad, doesn't it? Well, when you go to trial, when I went to law school, they taught us there are two kinds of witnesses, right? What are the two kinds of witnesses? The one that substantiates and the one that testifies against you, right? So when we say that Allah is a witness or other people, you're a witness over other people, we want to be a witness to their goodness, a witness to their success, a witness to their compassion. We want to speak praises of them. The role of witnessing has to be considered very significant, very demanding. It means that the community of Islam, in that community, the Muslims, must be exemplary individuals, and we have to try to set the highest standards of performance, and we have to be seen to be a reference point for others, and that is to avoid excessive extravagancies and rivalries, rigidity. We have to find the middle course of action and to be steadfast and consistent and to know what to accept and what to reject and have the principles to be balanced. And at the same time, we have to be adaptable, responsive to the society, to the time, to the place, to the people, the circumstances. And that's probably the hardest thing of all, because our character has to be high and strong, and yet our demeanor and our words have to be pliable and at the same time firmly rooted. It's the example of bamboo, you know? Bamboo has these long roots just below the surface, right? Hard to pull up, because bamboo grows down and up, same stalk. But yet, when the strong wind comes, it bends. We see it bend over here if there's snow on them, bend over down to the road. And then a few hours later, it's standing up straight again. This is the role of the Muslim community, this is the role of the Ummah, and especially of those of us of Tasawwuf. The historical mission of a Muslim and the very criteria that qualifies as a Muslim, as a good Muslim, has to do with being the best community ever to evolve. So what are the principles, the identity of the community of Muslims, and therefore the identity of those individuals? To be consistent, to be balanced, to be exemplary in conduct, to have unity of purpose, to have reciprocity of feelings, solidarity, equity, care, concern, tolerance, patience, love, submission, faith, trust. So many qualities. I can go on, but it never harms us to go back and understand again and again where we came from, and inshallah to where we continue to move toward. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma ansana finaka khairu nasirin, waftar finaka khairu fatihin, waghfir lana finaka khairu ghafirin, warhamna finaka khairu rahimin, warzuqna finaka khairu razikin, wahab lana najna min akham al-zalimin, wahab lana rihan tayabatin kama hiya fi ilmika wanshurna alayna min khazaini rahmatik, wahimna biha hamala karamati masalamati bi'afiyati fi dini wa dunya wa akhiri ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allahumma yasir lana umrana mahrarati qalubana wa abadana wa salamati bi'afiyati fi dunina wa dinina wa nasalaka iman daiman wa nasalaka kalban kashiyan wa nasalaka ilman nafiyan nasalaka dinan kayaman nasalaka afiyata min kulli balaya nasalaka tamana afiyati wa nasalaka dawma afiya nasalaka al-shukra ala afiya innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allahumma wasfir wujuna bi nuri sifatik wa artikina bashirna yawmi qiyamati bayna alayka wa jajaliyatika mabsutan alayna wa ala ahlina wa man mana bima rahmatika kullan kun lana sahaban fi safarina wa kalifatan fi ahlina wa misal wujuni wa dayna wa sakum ala makanatihim fala yastina udmudi ala ulama jilanina yani mala mujim yani mala mujim yani mala mujim. Ask of your Lord what you wish. Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah min na'madir wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruhu wa bihi natawakkal wa la na'udhu billahi بالله من شرور ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى المكاتب المقربين وأولياء الصالحين المجاهدين في الدين برحمته الرحمين أرحم الراحمين وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد اللهم وارد رسالتنا الخلفاء الراشدين وأبي بكر الصديق وعمر الفاروق وعثمان النعيم وعلى سيدنا الإمام علي كرم الله وجهه وارد اللهم سيدنا حسن وعلى سيدنا حسين ومهم سيدة فاطمة الزهراء وعلى بيت الكرام وأزواج النبي الطاهرات أمهات المؤمنين وصحابي الصالحين وتابعين التابعين بعباد المخلصين بإسلامين وإيمانين وإحسانين ويوم الدين. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى ينهى والفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وذكر الله أكبر. أخميس الصلاة.